Sorry, we're closed.
All right, sorry we're closed. Welcome back, Sean.
I
And
can feel the electricity.
tons of electricity, and we got new camera angles.
We're going the top down approach here today.
Top down approach. And I have a special treat for us today.
No.
You have no idea what this is. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have really stepped up the budget here at Sorry We're Closed. Really stepped up the budget. And we have cards now.
Wow. Hold on.
Thank you, everyone. We've stepped up the budget. And by stepped up the budget means I actually purchased these a really long time ago. But now we're going to use them. Because why not? Sean, we did something last week that I really enjoyed. Now, for everyone who's at home I'll give you quickly, all you Section 10 fans who are listening, giving Sorry We're Closed your undivided attention because Jared is in limbo currently. We will talk about some Red Sox baseball. We will talk about the Yankees baseball. But we're going to start, and this is what I want to start with, Sean. I want to start every podcast with this, and I will find it for us. You can do it sometimes.
Thank you for your
a
permission.
question of the day.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to pose the question. We will debate it. I will start a Twitter poll in the beginning of it, and we'll see what the audience thinks at the end of the episode.
Attention hacking.
Attention
Gary
hacking.
V would be proud.
Yes, he would be. Now, because this is a handheld mic, I should have typed out the question prior to this on my computer, so I don't have to do that. But we will get it started.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Question of the day, Sean. I give credit where credit is due. I take this question from Sal Volcano's podcast.
Legend. A true legend.
Sal Volcano. And his question that he posed was, are you for or against people taking their shoes off when coming to your home?
That's an excellent question.
Excellent question.
So, are we saying now would be a good time to type
Yes, go ahead, Sean.
All right, so the first question is, like, if I'm going to somebody's, I can remember going to certain parties, okay? And when I got there, the people asked me to take my shoes off. I think if you're hosting a party, shoes are staying on. Shoes are staying on. There's a completely different vibe to like the way you feel about yourself and like the conversations that you have when you're like slip sliding around somebody's kitchen in socks. Now I get the, if you have nice floors or whatever. I guess that's why people don't want to track dirt.
It's rugs, carpets.
My thing is, if you're that rattled, you shouldn't have a party. That's gonna be my stance on that. Is that if you're coming over, like you're going to your boy's house, you're going in middle school and you're going to go hang out with your buddies, you take your shoes off and you go in their house. That's no problem. I got no beef with that. But if you're going over for a party, like you're having 30 people over to the house, you got food, you got everything, you got the whole shebang, shoes stay on.
All right.
I think that's where the line is drawn.
I like that. Now, while I'm talking, you retweet that poll. So I am an avid shoes on person at all times. I feel put together when I have my shoes on. If I have my shoes off, I just feel like I'm no longer, like I can't imagine going to a business meeting and then requesting my shoes to come off. Like, it's just a weird, I think it's a weird thing to do. If I come over and I'm with, like, say I come over to your house, Sean.
Okay.
And it's just me, you, and, Stephanie, nice young lady maybe that I bring over, and you say, let's take your shoes off. We just cleaned the floor or something like that. Okay, whatever.
Right.
I still wouldn't do it ever, but okay, that's fine. But if you're hosting a party, and I like where you drew the line there, if you're hosting a party, you got to take it off.
Yeah.
You got, like, think about.
You're going to clean up after the party.
You're going to clean up after the party.
You don't have white rugs.
No, that's also a terrible decision. Yeah. I mean, what are we doing here?
How can you live your... I got a problem with people with white rugs. How about that? Tweet that, Twitter people. I got a problem. Who's got white rugs out? I got a real problem with people with white rugs.
Real problem.
How do you live your life? You can't live your life with a white rug.
No, you
You heard it here first.
No,
You
you-
cannot live your life with a white rug.
No,
You're walking around with coffee and they're like, oh.
Mhm.
You're walking around with spaghetti sauce. You know
Yeah,
how
coffee.
frequently we walk around with spaghetti sauce.
I walk around with spaghetti sauce all the time.
Yeah, you cannot. You. If you have a white rug, I got a problem with you.
Got a problem with you. Now, when it comes to, like, I will, and this is actually was talked about on Sal's podcast, I will avoid homes that I have to take my shoes off in.
It changes. It changes the dynamic. You go from being like put together
Mhm.
to feeling like a little kid again.
Yes,
and
exactly.
especially like I see a lot of these like real estate tours in New York City. It's one of my favorite things to do is watch New York City like sweet like mansion tours where people are like apartments, mansions in the sky, and a lot of them they're like really pristine floors, really pristine carpets, and a lot of times the real estate broker, the Ryan Serhant or
Yep.
whoever's doing it,
Of course.
is in full suit, no shoes, or what's worse, they make them put on booties sometimes.
Mhm.
You know booties.
I know booties.
You know booties.
I know booties.
Patty knows booties well. And they make them slip those over the shoes. Would you rather go shoeless or booties?
Shoeless. Booties make me feel really bad.
Yeah, booties is.
My thing is, if I'm going to go see, like, I can understand making the real estate agent go do it. But if I am going to go see a $10 million apartment,
I will be wearing whatever the hell I want.
exactly. You want me to buy this apartment?
Yeah.
I will wear whatever the fuck I want. And if you have to
And I'm
clean
gonna
up
step
after
in the-
me,
I'm-
clean up
I'm gonna
after
step
me.
in some mud right before I walk into your apartment, just so you know, sweet cheeks.
That's rude. That's just flat out
I'd rather,
rude.
you know, sir, we don't want your money.
just you're not a good person.
Hey, listen here, buddy. I'm gonna bring a puddle up to your 63rd floor penthouse,
And then I
and I'm
may
gonna
buy it.
step in it.
Yeah. So I've had people in town here in Hoboken that that I know are shoes off in the apartment. I like when we like stop by or something like that. I'll wait down here.
Yeah,
What am I doing here?
I'm
not 12.
I haven't done shoes off trick in a long
No.
time.
Now Sal Volcano's quote was, and I have let's have Miranda put it up. I'll send over the clip for her. Sal talked about how you're just tracking the entire world into your home.
So he says, well, he wants the shoes off.
Sal's big. I mean, is that surprising to you? You know.
I mean, now that I'm thinking, initially I thought he was going to be adamantly shoes on.
Yeah. No.
But now it makes sense.
He is full shoes off. Do not be tracking. I think he said like dirt and cocaine
Okay. Fair enough.
into his home.
Staten Island guy. I mean,
It's time to get salty. It's time to get salty. It's time to get salty.
Your house rule of taking your shoes off is stupid.
Ow! Are you serious?
Yes.
Well, you would
Yeah.
like to be traipsing around
Yeah.
in cocaine and shit everywhere?
Yeah, I'd like to walk like a grown up through the house.
That's yeah,
baby.
Oh, give me a break, dude.
Because
We eat here.
You can't afford a cleaning staff.
We eat here. We sleep here.
We eat off the floor.
We eat here. We see.
It's stupid.
You want to put the soles of your shoes go everywhere on this earth? You want to put them on my carpet?
Understand? Yeah, I totally get it. But it's just not a thing that I think I can get on board with ever. I will never in my entire life. I can pretty much take this to the bank. I will never request someone to take their shoes off in my home. I can pretty much take that to the bank. If we don't make Brian O'Connor take his shoes off when he gets in here, actually we should probably keep his on. But it's just not a thing. It's not a thing.
Look, my thing
I will avoid your home if you ask me to do so.
Hire somebody to clean your house.
Mm.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
I guess that brings us to an interesting debate about people being able to afford somebody to
Yes, that also
clean their
does.
house.
That also
So
does.
I'm gonna halfway retract that, but
I-
also not halfway.
I totally understand that you want to keep your home clean. I get that, but I just don't think that's the way to do it. Don't be hosting parties.
That's what I think. If you're, I have no problem. I will not have a problem with you taking your shoes off when you come into my house. If you're hosting a party, you've crossed the line in an egregious manner.
Yeah, do not take your shoes off when you come to my home, though. I
will.
make the rules in my home.
No,
Your
you
shoes
leave
stay
them on.
Shoes stay on.
You leave them on. You
Don't
keep
take that
those
shit
shoes off. We're gonna have a real problem here.
Yeah, like if you've been walking around all day or something like that, I don't want that shit.
Yeah, I don't like. A lot of people have smelly tootsies.
Yes, they do. I want nothing to do with that. You keep those damn shoes on, and you have. You and I both are big non-white socks people, and reason being is I can see the dirt on your socks.
White socks,
Now
okay.
once you immediately take those off, like even when a young lady, if she's wearing white socks and she takes her shoes off, whatever, and they could be the cleanest socks in the world, but because they've been used for a lot, they have dirt stains and stuff like that. I immediately feel you're a dirtier human being,
Totally.
and I don't want that.
Totally.
So you wear black socks so you avoid that whole problem.
Yeah, you mask your dirt.
You mask the dirt.
Wow,
And we're talking to a very, very clean person in you.
I am
Someone who
super
vacuums and sweeps almost every morning. Vacuum for sure every morning. I just don't know if you sweep
clean. I
every
vacuum quite frequently, not every morning, but very frequently. I don't sweep every morning. Usually, only the days you come home inebriated.
Inebriated, yes.
Where there is random pepperonis and jalapenos.
Listen, I love my pepperoni and jalapenos.
around the apartment. But very clean. I have no problem with shoes. Shoes make you feel put together. Here's the
Yes.
thing: as an entrepreneur, as somebody who has to be put together for a living, sort of,
Pretty much, yep.
you got to feel that. You got to have that. You got to have that feeling. And if you when the shoes come off, you change the feeling.
Couldn't agree more, Sean. Love that we're on the same page with here.
Boomsies.
I'm very curious. I will give an update halfway through the show. Very curious as to where the poll takes us. But I love this idea. What are your thoughts on this idea?
I think it's great. I think it's because it gets the audience engaged.
It gets the audience engaged, and
A lot of times we just go really rogue.
yes, and I want to use these. So
You bought them, so
I bought like 10,000
well, give me some.
because Vistaprint.
Vistaprint. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can only buy 50 or 500,000.
Yes, and 500,000 is only like $3 more, so you buy 500,000. Well, we're done.
They never wanted you to buy 50 to begin with.
Question of the day is done. Question of the day: Will you make people take off shoes in your home? We'll check back on that later. Talking points today, my friend. I have talking points. I have talking
this
points.
is
Look
like-
at me go.
We're on
Look at me
ESPN
go.
here.
Quickly, Section 10 update, Sean.
Lay it on me. I've been missing it. Let me tell you.
Section 10, still in limbo. I can certainly report things. I'm just not going to report all that much because it's not my show to do so. It's more of Jared's show. I can certainly tell you, as he has said on his Twitter bio, that there is a podcast coming, a Red Sox podcast, and you will see some familiar faces on the podcast.
Wow. Breaking news here.
Breaking
on
news.
Sorry.
I believe I actually saw someone tweet out that I found out from someone else about who one of the co-hosts was from a random Twitter account. They would say, like, I'm glad to see so and so back, and I don't know how that person knows because I didn't know.
people making claims on Twitter all the time. I was Googling see that Georgia quarterback transfer yesterday
To West Virginia.
And I saw people reporting that he had committed to all three schools that he's visiting. But I will say, Mountaineer fans, most of the randos were saying he's committed to West Virginia, unless the algorithm kind of has my number on that
They
one.
might have your number on that. They're doing algos, little algo rids. But yeah,
I'll go with
Section 10, a Red Sox podcast will be back. I can tell you that. And I think
Baseball's here, Patrick.
baseball's here.
Baseball's here.
Which brings us to the next topic. This is actually, Sean, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a full baseball podcast. There is one item here
the
that
crack of the bat and then the crack of the slap.
so there's the one item on here is Will, but I put in parentheses if necessary.
Wow. I will say that I would like to touch on the Peacocks at some point. I have a hot take on the Peacocks, but we don't have. We can get to it whenever.
Yeah, we'll get to it whenever. I mean, they got absolutely
Bent over.
yeah. They were horrendous.
pummeled.
They were horrendous. But quickly, Sean, not quickly at all. This is going to take a while.
Lengthily.
Red Sox, interesting enough, they came out today with a lineup that a lot were saying they believe might be the opening day lineup. Now, Sean, actually, let's start here first.
Okay.
As Red Sox fans, there are many, as we've seen, we have had an uptick in listeners since Section 10 is gone.
I love the Red Sox fans. I'm a Yankee fan, just so everybody.
So I was going to want to establish that. Are you a Yankee fan? Because as I stated, guys, and I don't have the video, but
I can get the video.
Get
that
the video.
That would be a good video.
interesting
To have.
When I got drafted by the Red Sox, there a announcement was made prior to me getting drafted because I knew I was getting drafted by the Sox for that pick. Announcement was made prior to the pick that Sean said something along the lines
This
of
is my last moment being a Yankee fan.
yes, and you just said it here that he's just confirmed he's a liar, and he is now back to being a Yankee fan.
That was my last temporary moment of being a Yankee fan. I was all in on the Red Sox. I mean, it was great to follow you in your career and watch you rise up and then plummet down. It was really tremendous. Really,
You know, you just pick up right where Jared leaves off. Just absolutely
I'm the brother.
lambasting me.
That is
it's
par for
true.
the course.
That is true. Very true.
No, I mean that was a ton of fun, and I really embraced the Red Sox culture. I mean, I'm not a Yankee fan enough to be like the Red Sox are stupid and I hate Fenway. Like Fenway is like the coolest place ever.
Fenway's sick.
Fenway's like the coolest
sick.
place ever. I mean, in terms of baseball, I'd rather watch a game at Fenway any day over Yankee Stadium.
No doubt. It's
Yeah.
not even close.
Baseball's got that
Not
old school
even close.
feel, and I mean, for me, I've never been to Wrigley, but I heard Wrigley's amazing. I heard that, and I know that Fenway's amazing. And I've been old Yankee Stadium. We could have had a conversation, but Fenway is just so novel and so unique and so great, and the fans there are really awesome. So
Yes.
I'll give you all the credit. I am a Yankee fan. I've always been a Yankee fan. Since the days where they were just like Robinson Cano, Alfonso Soriano, Jeter, all those, those guys. The core four. The one problem I have with the Yankees right now is that the Yes Network is not on YouTube TV, so I can't watch them. So I very rarely watch them, and I won't say that I'm like a diehard. I am a diehard of one team. It is the West Virginia Football Mountaineers.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah, you are a diehard of them.
But I do I prefer it when the Yankees are good, and I love having the games on in the background. I just haven't been able to watch them because they don't have. Do they black out on MLB TV? They black all the home games.
The reason
Or
I
all
get to
the
watch
games.
a lot. The reason I get to watch. I don't even know if just home games, because the Yes
'cause
Network
yes.
shows away games too.
Right.
So the reason I get to watch the Red Sox so much is that they're not blocking out Nesson for me.
Right.
I get blacked out because when the Red Sox play the Yankees.
Yeah.
I
I love the Pinstripes, man. I think it's just a classy organization. It's just it's great. But I don't. Remember when Aaron Boone hit the walk-off home run?
yes.
That was like peak Yankees fandom
Yes.
for me. Like that was like, and I would love.
Yeah, I
it.
believed
just
in the
wanted-
curse at that moment.
Yeah, I truly did. And when the curse was broken, I probably like this for a lot of fans, where the hatred and like the joy of just beating them every year just kind of dissipated because they, quite frankly, became better.
Yes. I mean, over the last 2 decades, the Red Sox have been better in a major way.
No
in
doubt.
a major
And they're
way.
great. They're great for baseball.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I just want the Yankees to be somewhat good, so that they have been somewhat
Yeah,
good.
they're good.
They're somewhat good,
A little
but
more competitive.
But I want to touch quickly on today's lineup and what we have as far as they are saying that this is probably going to be Red Sox opening day lineup.
Josh Taylor still on the team?
I have no idea, but I believe so. So let me pull this up real quick. But the thing that was kind of staring me in the face here. Obviously, we have what's his face pitching Nathan Eovaldi because Chris Sale's out. But we have Jackie Bradley Jr., probably the best.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back. Possibly the best defensive center fielder in baseball,
I'll confirm that.
starting in right field.
What?
So now I had to go.
Who's
and-
at center?
Admittedly, at Kike Hernandez. I had to go, admittedly, to my good friend Jared because that's Jared knows more. Actually, he actually follows the Red Sox better than I do. Jared's a diehard, and so I just kind of had a candid conversation with him about what are we thinking here, and it seems as though, which makes sense. Jackie's bat is really bad. He's not a good hitter.
I knew that.
And what we're assuming here, his defense obviously plays a large role, but they believe as though that Christian Arroyo might overtake Jackie out in right field. And they're assuming that's going to happen because of Jackie's bat. So knowing that's probably going to happen, they're not going to let Kike take his reps away from center field because they're like, well, this is probably going to happen. So Kike's going to be the everyday center fielder. That's what it seems.
Jackie's got to be 30 plus right now.
He's at least a year older than I am.
Okay, so from a strength and conditioning perspective, for the new listeners out there, former strength and conditioning coach, Arizona Diamondbacks, Los Angeles Lakers, suck it. Just to qualify, what I'm about to say.
Thank you for listening. Suck it.
Yes. Well, no, truly, thank you for listening. I do appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter, please. So, from a strength and conditioning perspective, the male, I'm going to be maybe off by 1 or 2 years, maybe 1 year here.
Uh-huh.
Your peak athleticism, your peak productivity, performance, power, all that stuff, like 27.
Okay.
So
according to Scott Boras, your peak performance years in baseball historically has been 28 to 32.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
All right, I'll give you that, but I won't give you the fact that I'm 100% sure that his speed is and has been on the decline just from a physiological standpoint.
Okay.
Now, I saw him. He saved you. He saved everybody. When you were in Pawtucket, I think
Countless times.
I mean, that guy was a friggin' vacuum out.
Yes.
I mean, and he was like moving, like he anticipated balls. Better
Unbelievable
than
reads.
anybody I've ever seen.
He's fantastic.
Anybody
yes.
I've ever seen. Shout out Evan Marzilli, also sneaky good.
Evan Marzilli, very good. I don't know if he's still playing.
He's not. But Jackie Bradley, one of the best I've ever seen. And I remember watching him when you were supposed to debut in Houston, but you didn't. I went out in center field behind him. Watching him move was spectacular.
Yeah.
But so I think that. I mean, like, when do baseball players typically retire? Like, when does an average? When does somebody of his caliber?
Okay, I was gonna say the average guy.
Yeah. When does somebody of his
19.
caliber is? I mean, we're talking 2-3 more years, probably, right?
Probably. Yeah, I think he
So-
signed a 2-year deal with the Red Sox.
Right. So he's on the way out.
Might be a team option at the end of
So-
year one. I'm not sure, but
So we're
yeah.
maybe looking long term here for the Sox.
Well, no,
I
I
don't
think
know Kike. I've heard of him, but I didn't see like.
Kike Hernandez came from.
He's in center. He's got to be fast, right?
Oh yeah, he's a leadoff hitter. Came over from the Dodgers. Big personality type guy, and was I can't say really good. I don't have the stats in front of me, but he was good last year for the Red Sox, and it came up with some really big hits, which I don't think anyone was really expecting. The hitting production that we got out of Kike last year, I'm not surprised to see Kike out there when we're talking about hitting. If we're anticipating that Jackie is not going to keep up in the hitting production that you need to do in the AL East, I could certainly see this being like, okay, well, Jackie's definitely the best defender. Let's give him a chance out there. See if he does. He's got a good. He doesn't have a good, but he is a lefty bat. And then if it falters, we give Christian Arroyo some looks. Obviously, all lefties. Christian Arroyo is going to be the one playing out there. And then kind of go from there. But it was just, as a guy who came up with Jackie and a guy who played with Jackie, countless times.
Good guy.
Yeah, I love Jackie. It was just weird. I'm looking through today's everyone's talking about opening day roster or opening day lineup, probably opening day lineup, and you're looking through this lineup, and I didn't know this Red Sox team was going to be as good as I thought they were. This lineup is delicious to look at. It is delicious. I mean, we have Trevor Story, who's a solid hitter, hitting sixth for us.
Maybe that should be the title of the podcast. The Red Sox lineup is delicious. That's a power title right there.
Honestly, Sean, it might just be. But let me just go over this lineup real quick because it is. I was always a little nervous going into it, just always because I felt as though this team overperformed last year. I didn't see this coming.
I think we all thought that.
Yes, no one saw this coming. Next thing you know, they're beating the Yankees in the wild card game. They're going and beating. I forget who they beat the next round, and they end up a couple games away from the World Series.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell? How did this happen?
I think preseason people were like, "This is not."
Won't
a
even make
Red
the
Sox
playoffs.
team.
They'd be lucky to compete for a wild card.
Yeah.
Then they got really hot, and they
Like
ended up being
super hot,
Ended
right?
up being like 10 games up
Yeah.
of the division at the end of the All-Star break.
We got to hit some games this year. We should
course.
do like a live show there or something.
Yeah, let's see. I don't know where.
Okay, yeah, well, in our hotel room or something.
Sure. Go live. But
I also want to bring this up. 2 hotels in Boston. Me and Patrick have different preferences on the hotels. I want to know for the Boston people, what's the one you stay at?
I stay at the Fairmont Copley Square.
I was going to say Copley Square.
Copley is Copley Square.
Copley, I believe.
Yeah. I need Stephanie for that.
And mine is the Lowe's.
So I originally started at the Lowe's. It's funny you guys this happens because I originally started at the Lowe's, and I was there a few times. Every time I went to visit Jared, I stayed at the Lowe's. Then, all of a sudden, you, my now ex-girlfriend, and your current girlfriend, say we're gonna go up last year. And we're going up, and as always, Sean books his hotel immediately, very prompt. I wait till like the day before to book my hotel. Lowe's is not longer available. So I look on my Amex travel list, and this one, Fairmont Copley Square, came up, and I was like, that looks lovely. So I do it, and the room's nice, whatever, but the bar
Yeah, it was
at
good.
the Fairmont.
It was a majestic. It was like old school, like super nice downstairs.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm never staying anywhere
I like
else.
the modern amenities.
Yes, you're a modern guy.
I'm a modern amenities.
You're a
guy.
modern guy. I like the old school.
I want to know from the people. Lowe's
or the Fairmont,
Copley Square.
or the Fairmont.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people on that'll be listening that have probably stayed at both, at the very least know both. But back to the lineup as we get off topic here. Kike Hernandez leading off, playing center. Alex Verdugo, left field, big time lefty bat from Alex Verdugo. Very happy that he came over, even though it still hurts me that Mookie's no longer with us. That sounds like Mookie's dead. But coming in at the 3 spot, we have Xander, one of the better hitters and better hitting shortstops in baseball. JD Martinez in the 4 hole. Rafael Devers, who's an all-star in the 5th hole at third base. Trevor Story at second base in 6th. Bobby Dalbec, if he does anywhere close to what he did after in some of his stretches and is a little bit more consistent, at 7, that's stupid. Christian Vasquez, who comes up with big hits seemingly out of nowhere at times, and also had a pretty good hitting year last year. And then Jackie, who's clearly the weak link here in hitting at the 9 hole. But if he can turn around the lineup, get on base, and put some pressure on the base pass to get back up to Kike
I mean, if you're going down to the 9 hole,
to find the weakness.
you're in fine shape.
Fine shape. And then Christian Arroyo, a better hitter than Jackie is. If we substitute him in and we don't have that lack of a it looks like right now. Oh, this is March 20th. This is not today's lineup. I read the wrong lineup. But that should be still the starting lineup. I'm going to imagine we just have Jackie out and right.
Were you looking at like last night's spring training game or something?
I was looking at 10 days ago's lineup. I guess it was the most popular lineup. Here we go. So this is actually a little bit different. Kike Hernandez in center. We'll run it back. We're running it back. Kike Hernandez in center. Rafael Devers in the 2 hole. Xander Bogaerts and JD, same spots. Alex Verdugo in the 5 hole. So it seems as though Devers and Verdugo were switched. Trevor Story still in 6. Dalbec still in 7. And now we have Jackie in right at 8. And it looks like they have Vasquez, who is the better hitter, to turn around the lineup and see if he can get back to the top, which makes sense. Oftentimes, your worst hitter is in the 8 hole, seemingly just because they want the 9 hole to be able to turn it around. But Jackie's in right, and that's what was so surprising to me. Kike in center. Again, I went to my source, Jarek Carabas, to help me with that. But, I mean, as good of a lineup as it gets. And then we have Tanner Houck pitching today, but Nathan Eovaldi will certainly start opening day for the Red Sox. But just this is a really difficult AL East this year.
Yes.
I have to, as well as you, need to do a little bit more research on Tampa, New York, the Yankees. I saw an article. The Yankees had a D+ offseason. Didn't really make any splashes as far as signings.
They did not.
They didn't make any splash. They needed a shortstop. Everyone thought they'd get one of the guys. And then if the Red Sox take Story, the Twins take Correa. Now, could certainly, if the Yankees make a push, could you see the Twins sell off what they were talking about and buy free agents?
Yeah,
Could they, or buy young guys? Could they sell Correa to the Yankees? Certainly. I don't know if the Yankees have a good enough farm system for it, but they could certainly try. But
Yankees need a freaking ace.
and Garrett Cole has been that guy for the last couple of years, and he has been good.
Yeah,
but
I think
they need more than that.
I think you need two ace, 2 stud pitchers if you really want to compete. I always go back to the Diamondbacks, Curt Schilling, Randy Johnson, the big unit.
The big unit.
The big freaking unit.
You want to talk about today's modern day duo. Do you have any idea where I'm going with this? You should. You will know. When I tell you, you're like, oh, of course.
You talking about baseball?
Yes. Baseball, the big unit and Curt Schilling of right now.
The big unit and Curt Schilling of right now.
Like it is people, I'm excited.
Is it like new this year?
New this year.
Oh, I don't pay enough attention to
You
baseball.
know this.
I know this.
You know that this is happening.
Can I get a hint?
One of the guys was already on this team. The other one came in. I can tell you. No, well, that's not going to help you. I was going to tell you one of them is a Boris Klein. The New York Metropolitans with Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer.
Scherz piece. I watched.
If Jacob deGrom stays healthy, Sean, this is going to be could be a special year for the Mets.
I was picking up a pizza yesterday or a couple days ago, and Scherzer was on the mound. They had him on TV in the pizza shop, and they like showed this guy who's this big, like freaking bulky dude. Like, look, he's really strong looking fella. Reminded me of one of my old minor league guys. He was up at bat, I think maybe for the Cardinals. And Scherzer was on the mound, and they bring this guy's name up, and it's like last year in like high A, and I was like, oh god, this is not going to go well. It was an absolute clinic. 3 pitches. It was, I mean, the most loop-de-doop-de curveball I've ever freaking seen. Just 12-6 right in. The guy had the bat on his shoulder. And then I think he peppered 2 fastballs in. He's just like, I'm not even dealing with it. I'm not even dealing with this clown.
Yes.
I was impressed.
And when you want to talk about pitching, and I know I've every time I talk about pitching on the Section 10, people seemingly like it, so they want me to. So I'll dive a little bit into that. If you think about a pitcher, and when you pitch there, Max Scherzer is going to be against a guy who he's never seen before. This guy, he probably knows he looks young, probably thinks he's probably a minor league guy coming up.
He definitely has some information, probably.
Some information, probably knows the guy a little bit, and knows that this guy was in the lineup. He's
high the 9th inning, so you know the Scribinis are in.
Oh, you know the Scribinis in. You know all these guys in the lineup right now are probably minor league baseball players. So you know that, and all this guy is looking for, he knows Max Scherzer throws 95. He's like, okay, first pitch fastball, I'm a Scribini. He's going to throw first pitch fastball.
I'm a Scribini.
So right when he sees loop D, so Max knows this loop D curveball. Once the hitter sees the ball in a weird place, not a fastball, bats on the shoulder. He's not touching it. Easy strike one. Easy strike one. Now the hitter's like, okay, I have no idea what the fuck this guy's going to throw. And like I said, you throw 2 fastballs in.
I mean,
just
just dotting.
See you later. The game's over. And he goes, you throw a fastball in. He's not touching that.
No.
He didn't just see a loop-de curve and be able to turn around and Max Scherzer's fastball. And then he's like, well, he's probably going to go back to that curveball now, and it goes right back in. I look like an idiot. But
it was sweet.
That duo this year, if DeGrom can stay healthy, is going to be really special to watch.
For the sake of our TikTok content, I want to tell you a Randy Johnson story.
Okay, Randy Johnson story. Let's hear it.
The big unit, he was a special advisor to the general manager when I was working for the Diamondbacks. I was out in Mobile, Alabama. I was my 4th year there. I was pretty comfortable with everybody. And you know how it goes, like the coordinators, the executive stuff, they like fly out to different affiliates, check out the prospects and stuff. And I was my 4th year. I'm loving it. We're having a great time out there. All the coaching staff, it was so much fun. We did this thing where we had a bicep measuring contest. I was a strength and conditioning coach. We did a bicep measuring contest. So every single person who came in, like we did the whole team, we did the coaching staff, and like if a coordinator came in, everybody's bicep gets measured. Big unit comes down to Mobile, Alabama. And he's there for a couple days, and every day I'm like, Unit. That's what everybody called him Unit. And I was like, this is a freaking, what a world I'm living in here. I was like, Unit. Got to measure your bicep. Got to measure your bicep. And he's a skinny dude, 6'11", skinny dude. And he's like, no, you're not going to measure my bicep. We're not doing that. No. And like I just kept pestering him like the whole time. And like the last day he was there, we were in the coach's office. We were crushing a couple beers at the end of the game. And I said, Unit, dude, you're leaving tomorrow. We got to get you on the board. Everybody's done it. We got to measure your bicep. And he goes, here you go. You can measure this. And he puts his Hall of Fame ring on the table. And I said, all right, you won.
He wins.
You won.
He wins. He wins that. And from Unit's perspective, he's probably coming in every day being like, this guy's going to fucking ask me to measure my damn bicep again. I swear, can we shut this guy up?
This guy's a little too freaking comfortable. Who's with the long hair guy?
And he probably talked about it with his friends. And they said, put your Hall of Fame ring on. I'd be like, okay, that's a great idea. But it's I don't know where we were going with that. How did we get to the Unit story?
Because I was saying,
and we're doing the double whammy. The double
Yankees
whammy.
need 2 aces.
Double whammy. And I think the Yankees, I haven't seen a lot from Yankee Nation right now. They're interestingly enough, Yankees Red Sox are opening day in the Bronx.
Oh, wow. That's tremendous.
It's tremendous. I've been asked to go to that game about 4,000 times, and I've responded aggressively no every time. That's another thing that people
don't like getting to Yankee Stadium.
That's the other thing people don't talk about between the Yankee Stadium and Fenway Park. I go up to Fenway and I walk to the game.
Oh, and it's the best.
Yes, I live in Hoboken.
It's the
We're
best.
probably, let's say, in total, maybe a couple miles away from Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And it's going to take me an hour and a half.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. The train up there.
Was it the F train?
I think it's not the F train. I believe it's the one.
The
Will
one
take,
train
will take you all the way up.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And it gets so crowded the closer
I
you get,
know.
and then you get off, and it's a real gritty New York. It's also potentially the worst neighborhood of Brooklyn. Not the worst neighborhood, but the Bronx is by far the most crime rated.
Yes. Yes. And then I go with some buddies, and they always want to be like, the Red Sox jokes.
Yeah,
And then you
couldn't-
get other
couldn't care
people
less.
involved, and you get that. And I always say this: we are one
Yes.
really drunk Yankee fan away from a fight here.
Yes.
But we don't want to do that.
Yes.
So
I would much rather watch a game at Fenway.
yes,
Much rather watch.
much
a game
rather.
at Fenway.
Fenway's awesome. Fenway's I've only heard there's one competitor to Fenway in baseball, and it's Wrigley.
I will say, there's the two old parks, right? It's like, and baseball truly is an old school sport. I have heard from my NL West friends that San Francisco is an absolute freaking joy to play at. I heard as a visitor, Yankee Stadium is amazing. They have like chefs.
Oh yes, I mean the amenities. Yankee Stadium is tremendous, but for the fans,
I've heard that San Francisco is an absolutely remarkable place to watch a baseball game.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Little breeze off the water must be nice. But as far as going to the Yankee game, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to travel an hour and a half to get there.
Back.
I'm hoping that I don't have to stand in line at that popular bar Billy's, which is actually huge. So you probably won't have to. But then I'm going to go into the game. I'm gonna have to deal with comments I don't want to deal with. I'm going to buy a $30 Heineken that I don't even like. And why am I doing this, guys? Why am I doing this? So it's just not for me, guys. So stop inviting me. But the Yankees are the D+ offseason. I mean, they're a good team. They haven't. I don't think they have re-signed Aaron Judge yet, but they came out saying that they'll give him $30 million for 6 or 7 years. So I think they got to be close.
I still seemed like they were moving.
Yeah, but
It's opening day. It's like next week, maybe.
the 8th or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's next Friday.
Yeah, it's something like that. Again, looking forward to the baseball season. I think right now in the AL East, I mean, it's going to be an absolute dogfight between I think the Yankees have the least likely chance of winning out of the
Toronto's got some talent too, right?
Yeah, out of the 4 major teams here, Baltimore not going to win. Baltimore, fun fact, the only Major League Baseball team last year to lose value.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's bad.
How?
It's just not. I don't know. They're
It's
not
got to
making-
be. It's got to be like
Probably making less money.
It's got to be like a city thing. It can't just because you suck.
No, I think you're just probably making less money.
Yeah.
But anyway, regardless of all that, I think the Yankees, in my view, right now have the least likely chance out of the 4 main teams in the AL East to win it. The Red Sox have a really good chance. We need starting pitching, though. Or at the very least, we need those young guys to step up, kind of like they did last year, probably a little bit more. And then you have a really young Toronto Blue Jays team that is exciting as all hell to watch.
I'm gonna say with little information here that Tampa is gonna be the front runner here.
Probably.
And I guess I think there's too many question marks between Boston and New York. I think there's going to be a lot of things unfolding in the first.
It seems
60
as though
days.
people are really excited about Tampa and Toronto.
Yeah.
And that they're the 2 main guys.
Yeah.
Red Sox, I think, are close behind. If we make a good run, listen, I trust in Heim. Heim Bloom. I thought going into last year, I was upset that he didn't make a lot of moves. We were spectacular. I had a lot of fun watching the team last year. So I trust this guy. Guy came from Tampa, building through the farm, the whole shebang. I trust Heim. I think we're going to compete. I think it's going to be it's a dogfight in the AL East, and we're just going to beat up on each other for the whole year. Yeah. And I just hope that we're able to at least squeak some out, be able to make the playoffs. I can't remember if the playoffs are expanding this year or not. I think we have a couple years, but
baseball's back.
Baseball's back. I'm excited about it. Another baseball topic I want to talk about, and I want to know if you've seen it. Have you seen what is called banana ball?
Absolutely not.
You have not seen banana ball.
is
Miranda put up the clip. But banana ball, it's in. So I think I would imagine it's one of the minor league teams that's got cut because I did play in Savannah.
Oh.
Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas.
So you know what I'm talking about now.
Okay, yeah, I've seen them on TikTok.
Oh, I bet you have,
Yeah,
my
I
friend.
have seen them on TikTok.
It is electric.
What the hell is that?
So I
can't tell if it's like a Harlem Globetrotter situation.
I think it's similar. I don't think they play away games. I think it's all in Savannah. And
solid players. Like they're not.
I think it's independent ball guys that stopped playing.
Yeah.
But I just saw the new banana ball rule number 8, where if one of the fans catches it in the stands, it's an out.
I can personally attest that it's saved probably 5 or 6 would have been hits. Just Luke shots over second that he's there to catch every time, which is definitely something for you. Catch it, stay in here.
Oh! That is caught. It's out number 3. How about that? Zach Whelan pops out to the crowd for the 2nd time in his banana ball career. The first foul ball caught.
That is amazing.
And they bring the fan onto the field. Everyone goes nuts. Like when the fan caught it, the place erupted.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
So I've heard that
great freaking work, whoever's running that show.
Yes. So and that's the Savannah
We
was.
got to get down to Savannah.
I love it. There's a bar there called the Treehouse.
Never been.
That I loved. You never played in that league, so it makes sense.
I didn't play in any of the leagues,
Yes.
actually.
That's true. But yeah, Savannah, I absolutely love the town. But Savannah Bananas making headway,
yeah, I've seen
really making the most. I'm sure we'll see possibly some other teams that were cut possibly try to take the same approach.
So it was the Savannah Sand Gnats, I believe.
Sand Gnats, I believe
and
so,
they've transformed into this.
into the
It was
Savannah
the
Bananas
Mets team, I think.
Yes, it was the Mets team. Savannah Bananas, and yeah, they essentially the Harlem Globetrotters. Seemingly, it's a great comparison. I haven't heard that comparison yet, but a great comparison of what we think this. And like I said, there's banana ball rules, and I don't know all the banana ball rules.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Maybe they'll have
First time I ever went to a Harlem Globetrotters game, I was under the impression it was real basketball, and the guys was like punting it from full court,
Yeah.
and like pantsing the opponents. I was like, oh, this was not what I thought I was signing up for.
All right, folks. We have the top 9. I guess there's only 9. 9 banana ball rules.
All right, I got to hear him.
So 1, I don't get this yet, so maybe the people at home can help me. But 1, every inning counts. So I would imagine that doesn't every inning count in baseball too?
Maybe it counts in a different way.
Okay,
Maybe we read on.
Maybe. Number 2, 2-hour time limit. Can only be a 2-hour game. So you maybe have a countdown or something like that, counting down maybe.
Okay. How interesting.
As a hitter, you cannot step out of the box.
Okay.
So I just saw the whole infield and outfield and pitcher do a dance and then pitch.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so you can't step out. Number 4, no bunting. Cannot bunt.
Swinging for the fences.
Yep. Batters can steal first base. I'm not sure how they pull that off. Maybe they just start running if they're doing a dance. Number 6, and if this was a rule in Major League Baseball, I would still be in the big leagues. No walks allowed.
I don't understand. You can max balls?
Baby, start swinging, baby.
Interesting. Okay.
No walks allowed. Number 7, in a tiebreaker, in the event of a tiebreaker, there is what's called a one-on-one showdown, which I would love to know.
Home
what
run
that is.
derby? Got to be a home run derby.
Got to be a home run derby. Number 8, no mound visits. And then number 9, which seems to be just added based off TikTok, if a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out.
That's a remarkable.
I love that
That's
rule.
a remarkable.
I
Everybody's
love it.
showing up with a
Yeah.
glove. And now the fans are
The
involved.
kids are going to love it.
Yeah, the guys are out there. They're creeping in out in the right
imagine,
center.
imagine a little kid catches now. The place is going to go bananas.
Wow. Wow. Well done.
Well done, everyone. Well done, everyone.
Well,
Banana balls. Banana balls.
we got to get to a Savannah game.
I'd love to go down. I know Jared's talking about going down. I do have some inside information that I'm not going to reveal, but I know some people that might be playing for the Savannah Bananas. I mean,
That's a great. I got a glove. I haven't used it in a while.
I'd go out there and try to catch a foul ball. A former Major League Baseball player out there trying to catch one.
Just diving on it. I want the glory.
So banana balls on TikTok,
Great.
phenomenal.
Great podcast.
Phenomenal. By the way, great podcast. By the way, if us just calling it bananas is not one of the TikToks that Miranda puts up, we have a problem.
Yeah. Look, I might quit the show.
He won't quit the show. Great show, Sean. Great
How long
show.
have we been doing this?
Oh, real quick. Let's touch on what's your Peacock take?
Peacocks.
What's your Peacock take?
Real quick, I think this is my hot take on the St. Peter's Peacocks. Unbelievable run.
Uh-huh.
Disappointing finish, but it was you kind of had no choice. That was going to happen.
Yes.
Let me get your take on this. I'm thinking possibly St. Peter's has changed basketball forever. Truly.
Hot take. Let's hear it.
Shaquille O'Neal changed basketball forever when he completely changed the game, and it became a bigs game. If you didn't have a big, if you didn't have a freaking guy that could guard that dude, you could not win. That's what Yao Ming started coming in the league. All these big dudes, it was like all about the bigs.
Yes.
In today's world, it's completely different. Steph Curry came in and completely changed the game. Now everybody's shooting threes, right? Now, I don't know that it translates to the NBA quite yet, but I think when you look at the way St. Peter's played against all of those high major teams, it really exposed the Achilles heel of this Steph Curry-fied basketball where you're jacking up a lot of threes playing from the outside. You get these Savannah Sand Gnats to come right up in your jockstrap and play you tight, like old school defense, like old school gritty basketball, old school playground, but New York City style hoops. And all of a sudden, all of these 5-star prospects are rendered straight up useless. Now, I got to imagine that all the mid-major teams are looking at this and saying, there's a freaking blueprint here to beat these teams. I mean, obviously, we're going to have a huge size disadvantage, but if we get in there, if we get in them, we can really. I mean, even North Carolina, they were so much better. But there was like a 6-minute stretch where North Carolina didn't even score, and the Peacocks couldn't even do anything, right? And they made them so uncomfortable in all 4 of their tournament games. I think that. And you even look at like a team like WVU or a team like a lower level high major team, like we're looking at a way that they can compete and compete quickly, right? I think Bob Huggins brings back Press Virginia next year instead of being all 3-point, because I think that we're now seeing that there is a major hole in their armor. What do you think?
I mean, I certainly think it's worth a shot. From a layman basketball player, it seems like the thought process here is play harder defense.
Yeah.
And so
it was more than just me being aggressive and playing tight man to man. It was like timely traps, full court, like mixing it up 1-3-1, going to 2-3 matchup zones and stuff like that. It was more than just, hey, let's go, let's give it all we got today, boys.
Well, I think you would be if you were a high major coach, a mid major coach, no matter what. If you're a coach of basketball in any caliber, regardless, not saying like see to drive like middle school teams, but if you're a coach and
you're way too into it,
yes, and you watch this St. Pierre's, I think you would be remiss as a serious basketball coach to not watch game tape on how St. Pierre's was able to beat these high majors. And offensively, eventually they just got cut. They just weren't good enough basketball players anymore. Because on a defensive end, you're talking about scheming and you're talking about athletes. You don't need to be able to make the shot over the 6'8" North Carolina.
We've all
player.
played against guys who they're not good, but you're just so annoying.
Yeah. And if you can just be an athlete and be able to keep up with people, you'll be fine. And they athletically can keep up with North Carolina. They can stay in front of guys. They can do things. They can do the schemes, the timely traps. It's just when you go on the offensive end and now you have to score on these people, that's going to be difficult, which we saw in the North Carolina game.
Yeah.
But I think I agree with you in the sense that if you are not a
blue blood who's going to be bringing in these powers.
Yeah, I think
big guys.
Even so, if you are a serious basketball coach, I think you'd be remiss not to watch their defensive schemes and see if you can't pick up some things on how to beat these high majors, even if you are a high major yourself. Yeah. If you have now the Kentucky 5-stars doing the St. Peter's defense, that's going to be really difficult on people.
Yeah.
So I think you should 100% at the very least. I don't know if they've changed basketball. But I don't think
they'll affect the NBA because you ain't doing that 82 games anymore.
No, and you also have people playing with contracts. There's a whole. There's just so much more involved in the NBA.
But I do think if I'm a team like Iowa State, or if I'm a team like Oregon State, right? Like these teams that are like high majors, like I'm saying we can compete next year if we change it up a little bit and like immediately compete. If we can find a way to find some of that sauce into our game.
Couldn't agree more. I love the hot take, but what's his face is moving on to probably St. Hall.
Hasn't done anything yet. I think he's soaking up the joy of the Elite
Maybe
Eight.
he starts seeing some other offers.
There's nothing out there.
Nothing out there?
No, it's not. Seton Hall's top offer right now. Top job available.
Okay. Well, then never mind. But listen, this podcast was bananas.
BANANAS. Okay. I hope people have stopped listening. That's embarrassing.
We're embarrassing now. Great podcast, though. Will Smith slaps Chris Rock. What a shit show that was. I think Will Smith looks like an idiot, but I don't really want to talk about Vanity Fair stuff.
Yeah, everybody shut
the hell up with Will Smith. I've heard enough about Will Smith.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Bye.
Great podcast, Sean.
One of the best.
Section 10 listeners, thank you for listening to us. Thanks for coming on. I hope you enjoyed baseball because you guys have, according to my Twitter account, miss it terribly.
What's the final? What's the final on the poll?
Oh, that's great. There you go. Look at that, Sean. Look at that. That's why we bring you places. Final on the poll, folks. Welcome back to the poll. Let's see here. Where is the poll? Nope, that's not the poll. Will you, wow. Second question of the day, another lopsided take.
Okay.
152 votes. There are 15 minutes left in the poll, but 152 votes. And we have 71.1% people saying they are for people taking their shoes off in the home. I did not see that coming. I
A
thought
lot
it'd
of
be
white
closer.
carpets out there.
I thought it'd be closer. I thought that Against would win based off my own.
Do most people do most people ask you to take your shoes off when you come over?
Most houses I've been to, no, but I'm also not going to families' homes many
I
often.
think when I was a kid, that happened more frequently.
I remember more frequently for sure. I've only been asked a couple times here in Hoboken,
really
and
go over
I don't go back to those residences.
I'm
but-
excluding them from my life.
Yeah, but 71.1% people are for this for taking their shoes off, which I'm shocked about.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a great question.
That is a great question. That's 152 votes. That's crazy. Well, there you have it, folks. There you have it. Be back next week with the question of the day. Drop a comment if you have a question that you'd like us to
Smash
answer.
the subscribe button.
Smash it.
Smash it.
Smash.
Leave us a review. 5 stars, please. Please, like an Uber driver.
Yeah,
5
don't, if you're gonna
stars.
leave like a 2-star, don't review. Don't leave one. That'd be a douche.
Yeah, why do you go out of your way to give a 2-star review? You like listen to podcasts, you're like screwed.
I had one lady called Pod Woman, and she left me like a 1-star. Said I had no direction. She was right.
Well, that was
right.
was fair.
And she actually made my podcast better. So I appreciate that, Pod Woman, because after I was like, I should do better. I shouldn't just start talking. So thank you, Pod Woman.
You've been thinking about Pod Woman for the last year.
Seriously. I still can't believe this result, but great episode, Sean. And until next time, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry, we're closed.